Welcome to the Freedom Nation podcast. My name is Jeff Kikel and I am your host. And we're talking a little bit today about how to get yourself out of debt. This is one of the most important things that you need to know because you're never going to be free without getting yourself out of debt. And we're going to show you how to do that, so stay tuned.
All in you. Everything you're looking for, it's all in you. You gotta believe that it's all in you. Everything you're searching for, it's all in.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show today, and I really want to share with you one of the things I think is one of the most important steps of the Freedom Day method, and that is getting yourself out of debt. Now, we have to start by talking about what types of debt there are. So let's take a look real quick. The first of which is good debt. Now, a lot of people will tell you, oh God, their debt's terrible, it's all bad. No, not necessarily. So good debt are things like mortgages, because that's where you live and you have to pay for some form of shelter. So a mortgage is good debt. The other type is school debt. School debt helps you get a better job, theoretically. Now, the challenge that a lot of people have is they spent way too much on college, getting themselves into a job that may or may not really generate the kind of income that they needed. School debt, good, because it can generate extra money for you. Bad, because you could get yourself into a deep financial hole. But we're going to call it good debt for right now. Now, let's talk about bad debt. Bad debt, on the other hand, is things like credit cards, consumer debt, so maybe financing through companies to get furniture or things like that. In addition to that, car loans are another one that I would put here in bad debt. That's things that you want to get rid of as quickly as possible because most of the stuff in that category, in the bad credit category, are things that depreciate in value. So you buy them, it might be going on a vacation. Okay, the vacation, although personally it feels good and it's great, putting it on credit means that you now have really nothing to show for it. You've gone someplace, you've done it, and you have nothing to show for it. So we want to make sure that we focus on getting rid of that bad debt first. So how are we going to do that? Well, how we're going to do that is we're going to focus on a strategy that I first learned about when I was reading one of Dave Ramsey's books called The Total Money Makeover, and it's called the Debt Snowball. I will tell you, after working with clients for over 30 years in the financial services industry, I've never found anything that works as well, as easily understood as the Debt Snowball. There are all kinds of techniques that you can use to get out of debt, but I will just say this one's the easiest that I've ever seen, so I'm going to show you that today. So let's talk a little bit about the debt snowball. A debt snowball is very simple. Think about a snowball at the top of a hill. When that snowball starts up at the top of the hill, it's small, and then it keeps rolling down the hill, and as it rolls down the hill, it gets steadily bigger because it's picking up steam as it goes. So a debt snowball, when it comes to debt, is we're really focusing on trying to develop and trying to build momentum. We're trying to get the ball rolling and then let it continue to build up. So let's talk about an example here. Let's assume we have a consumer loan of some type that's $2,000. And minimum payment on it is $75 per month. We also have a credit card that is $4,000. And minimum payment on that might be $100 a month. Then we look at a student loan. So we've got that kind of student loan out there, and it's relatively small at $15,000. And those usually have a really low payment amount on them because they're stretched out for so long. And last but not least, we have a car loan. And that car loan is $25,000 because we just bought the car, and that's a monthly payment of $500 a month. That one's typically a much shorter period of time because the car's losing value every day that you own it. What we want to do with a debt snowball is we need to understand what our budget is. Remember, that was step one of the Freedom Day process, or the Freedom Day method process. We wanted to focus on what is our budget, what do we have, what is our minimum required income that we need to survive, then what's left over in our budget that we can use to attack debt. Now, we also talked about developing other sources through side hustles, developing other sources of income that are active income. Maybe I do that little side hustle thing. Maybe I create a product or service that I can sell. Maybe I go to garage sales and then sell the stuff on eBay. I don't care. Whatever you do, that can add extra income that you can use to reduce your debt. So let's assume that we have an extra $200 a month. So, our debt here is sub $700, and we've got an extra $200 a month that we can apply to this. Well, $200 a month is not too hard to make. You can do that easily. You could probably drive Uber for 2 days and make $200 at that point, maybe 3 or 4 days to make that with expenses. All right, so I would apply that. Now, what I'm going to do with the debt snowball is I want to stack my lowest debt to my highest debt. I don't care what interest rates are. I don't care what terms are. All I want to focus on is the smallest one first, going to the largest, and whatever the minimum payment is. What I'm going to do is now take that extra $200 and apply that to the smallest debt first. That instantly accelerates the payoff of that consumer debt, that first one. Boom. That's gone in just a few months. Now, all that money that I was paying in minimum payment for the first one, plus the $200 that now is available, is going to go towards that second debt. It's $4,000. That's going to pick up the speed very quickly because now I'm applying all that money towards that next debt. You start to see the momentum happening, and boom, within 12 months or so, I've knocked out that second debt. Now I only have the student loan and I have the car debt in there. Now, I told you, student loan debt is good debt, but I would venture to say I'd probably pay it off just because I've got a lot of momentum going. So next thing I would do is I would say, all right, I'm going to stop. I've paid off that one above. We're now going to the next one, and we're taking the 2 minimum payments from the previous ones, and we're applying that towards that student loan debt. Once again, now I'm applying a whole bunch of money towards that $15,000. It's not going to take very long to pay that off in the end. Then all I have left is my car payment. And I've got all the money that I've done here, and I guarantee you what's going to happen is once you get down to that last debt, once you get down to that car payment, you are going to be super excited about, wow, I'm almost out of debt. I'm going to figure out whatever I can do to pay this off as fast as I possibly can, which means you might look at your budget and say, I didn't really need this or that in the budget, and every last little thing that you take out of your budget, what I would recommend that you do is immediately apply this to whatever your payment amount is. Let me give you an example. Let's say you realize that Hulu, you've got a subscription to Hulu or you've got a subscription to Disney Plus and you've not used it in 6 months. So that means you don't really use it very much, and that's $8 to $10 or let's call it $15 to $20 a month. $15 to $20 a month doesn't seem like a lot. But $15 to $20 a month times 12 is up there in the $600-700 range. $600 or $700 makes a big difference throughout the year. What I would recommend that you do is, as soon as you got rid of Hulu, I would add that $25 to my minimum payment. Once more, the more I can put in here, the better. Maybe I also said, you know what, maybe I was driving Uber or delivering food, and I just decided to do an extra day per month. Maybe that added an extra $100. Now, all of a sudden, I'm applying all of that towards that debt to get really rid of my car payment, and boom, that's gone. Now, here's the cool part. Now that you're done with that, all of that money that you've been applying is now instantly in your cash flow that you can use, and that can now start you on your path towards Freedom Day. So that's the Debt Snowball. I hope you learned a lot today, and I hope that you put it into place immediately so we can get you to your Freedom Day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button because we put a lot of stuff out there, And I would love your comments. Make sure you share your comments with us. Let us know what you think of this. Let us know your successes whenever this happens. Give us your successes, because I certainly want to be able to share this with the world. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you here next time.